Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Nathaniel coming back into the spirit with another lesson. But first and foremost, before I get started, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachach Madash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone rule to teach well. Peace, love, salutations, and many blessings to those that are put His word in truth and sincerity. This lesson is based off of this video that I just got out of seeing on TikTok. And what you have is a man looking at his, from the tribe of Issachar, and how he was exposed to a bunch of stereotypes about so-called black people. Now, even though a lot of stereotypes about so-called black people are true, there are some that are spread by our enemies amongst each other to cause division. Okay, but ultimately, it was the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai who did that to keep us divided, right, for a purpose. Now, I want to start off with a quick precept. This is Isaiah 25:7, and it says, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that spread over all nations," and that's including the nation of Israel. It's not just the heathen nations. Okay, there was a veil that was also put upon the children of Israel, because first and foremost, we didn't know who we were as a people. Issachar didn't know that he was, the so-called Mexican didn't know that he was a tribe of the nation of Israel. Neither did Judah, neither did Benjamin, neither did Levi, neither did Reuben, neither did Asher, neither did Naphtali, and so on and so forth, right? So that was a veil that was spread upon us. But also, for a long time, the other nations did not know, the other tribes did not know who their enemies were, okay? So they were looked upon their brethren as their enemies, because this was what was put upon them by Esau, Edom, okay, to cause division amongst the tribes, okay? So I'm gonna play this quick video to show that the tribes, not just on the spiritual level but on a carnal level, are also starting to wake up to the lies that were told to them by Esau, Edom.
They're loud and things of that nature, right? I did a video that went viral that's called Racist Mexicans. And more or less what I described there was that when I first arrived to this country from Mexico, I was warned about black people and be careful with them. They're problematic. They're going to get you into trouble. They're violent and things of that nature. All the negative things that are...
Now, this lie, and I'm going to continue on the video, this propaganda was also spread amongst the Israelites that are in Africa. That the so-called black people over here in America, that they were this and they were that, everything that he's describing now. Now, I will pull up that video, but for time's sake, I made this included in another video where I expound upon this. And this one's just going to be a little short video, and they're talking about how over in Africa that they were lied to about who we were as well, okay? So this is something that Esau has perpetuated throughout the earth. But this also goes back into the curses, where it says that you will be a proverb and a byword among all the nations in which I scatter thee. Okay, so now the Lord is removing that covering cast that He was spread upon us, so that now we can actually start to see who our true enemy is. And it's because the prophets are on the highways and the byways preaching this, and they're putting this vibration out into the world.
Attached to the stereotypes. What I also said in that video was, when I was settling in this country and moving into a black neighborhood, the first thing that I noticed was that black people were embracing me more than my own people. So as I was getting together with black people and felt so welcome, I began to question the stereotypes and what I was warned about. And so for many years of my life, black people, they're good. Whatever you guys are saying, it's not true, because they welcome me. They'll always receive me with open arms. But you see, I've been wrong in chanting that song. In a way, it's actually been damaging, because what if black people never welcome me? Would that prove then the stereotypes right? You see, the interesting part here is that by default, black people are the bad guy. White people are the good guys. Why, when I came to this country, I was warned about black people, but not white people?
You see, the scriptures say that the devil shall appear as an angel of light. You see? And that's exactly what the devil does. He appears to you as an angel of light. So he makes everybody else look like they're bad, but he's the good guy.
It history has taught us that white people came from Europe and pretty much destroyed us as much as possible and have been colonized, ethnically cleansed, and pretty much stripped from our languages and everything we are by white people. You would think, based on history, based on our current systemic efforts, you would think that arriving to this country would be warned about white people. Hey, be careful. They pass racist laws. You get pulled over for your complexion. Things of that nature. But no. So the real question is, what seems to be the problem? A good example of that is, as I'm walking on the street and I see a black or a brown man coming my way, our reaction collectively is, what the F you looking at? But then when a white man is coming our way, we move to the side. It's, excuse me, sir. So we are looking at ourselves, at each other, with the eyes of the people that have colonized us. You said that black people tend to be naturally more welcoming, more accepting, and it's true. I agree. I grew up in black neighborhoods, so it allowed me to discover that. But see, that's also problematic, because what if I never grew up in black neighborhoods? Why do black people have to, in a way, prove their humanity, have to convince us of their humanity, but white people never have to? So if I grew up, let's just say, in a Mexican neighborhood only, so from a distance, I'm thinking, oh, I ain't trying to go to that black neighborhood because black folks are violent. But it's okay if I go to that white neighborhood because white people are not violent. So you see, by default, white folks get their humanity, black people do not. So you said something very important too. Who's been controlling the macro media and who still controls it? What is the standard of beauty? The white standard of beauty. So everything that is white has been right. We are so behind, so many decades behind in regards to who's been controlling the macro media, the mass media. Whoever has been controlling how we see the world, the images and the messages, subliminal messages. But also, one of the best things you said that I completely agree and it plays the biggest part is the victor gets to write our history. And so we've been depicted as the bad guys, and the conqueror, the colonizer, the slaver has depicted himself as the good guy. And unfortunately, due to indoctrination and white supremacist ideologies that have been forced onto us and we've adopted and unfortunately practiced, we have been treating and viewing each other with the eyes of the white supremacist white man. When we think of black people,
you see that? So that's why the Lord has to remove the casting cover, because Esau's kingdom is coming to an end. So as his kingdom starts to fall, the Lord is revealing his secrets. Okay? Now I'm gonna go to before I get another precept, I want to go to Nahum chapter 5. Nahum chapter 3. Why is it doing that? You know what? Let me just do this. All right, so here we go. This is Nahum chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 5. And it says, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and show the nations, all of the nations, including the nation of Israel, thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. Okay? And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and set thee as a gazing stock. You see that? So that's what's happening right now. Everybody's starting to stray away from Esau Edom because they're seeing his true identity, so to speak. You know, how he truly is, how he's the wicked and the evil upon the earth. You know, so the nation of Israel are starting to see that now, and Issachar especially, you know, starting to see, you know, the so-called black man is his brother. You know, and this is like, you know, my wife, you know, my rib, she's an Issacharite, and you know, she got two older brothers, and they've never, you know, since I met them, even looked at me as, oh, this black man right here. They never even looked at me like that, you know. And they come around to my house and we eat and we joke, and you know, and they even support me in a lot of ways when they have the opportunity to. I'm talking about heavy support, and I'm a so-called black man. So what that shows is that, you know, Issachar on a certain level is breaking away from that covering cast that was cast upon all the nations, and starting to see that Esau Edom is truly the problem. Okay, he's the problem, and it is all due to the Lord is slowly starting to lift these curses off of us, because Esau Edom's kingdom is coming into an end. Okay, and he's showing the nations who this devil really is, including the nation of Israel. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 11 and 13. I'm gonna start at verse 12. And he says, and it says, and he shall set an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. Okay, so you got the southern kingdom, the northern kingdom looking at Judah with the side eye, just like he said. He's like, we looking at y'all like we need to stay away from this guy, because there's a vexation that was put upon the so-called blacks, the so-called blacks, the southern kingdom, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You see, so there was a certain vexation that the other tribes didn't want to deal with us, because the Lord had cast this upon us. So the Lord is saying that he's going to remove that to where they will no longer be vexed by us. You see what I'm saying? And Ephraim should not envy us anymore, because if you look at the northern kingdom, they duplicate a lot of things that they see the southern kingdom do. You see what I'm saying? And if you look at a lot of the styles that they have, how Judah, he'll come out with it first, you know what I'm saying, and then you start seeing the northern kingdom start to copy it. Well, that's a form of envy. You know what I'm saying? We want to do what y'all do, but they don't know why they're doing that. But at the same time as they're doing this stuff, they also have a vexation they are vexed by the southern kingdom. You see what I'm saying? But this was something that the Lord had put on us, because this is part of the curses of Deuteronomy 28, starting the 15th chapter. All right. So then I'm gonna go to Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel 37 and 17. Now this is where the 12 tribes start comes in at, and I'm gonna start at verse 16. And it says, moreover, son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then another stick, write upon it for Joseph, because Joseph is another way of saying Ephraim, the stick of Ephraim. See, he just explained it right there. And for the house of Israel and his companions. Now you see, he gave two distinguishments. He said Judah, the house of Israel, and Ephraim, the house of Israel. So we all are Israelites. You see, because if you go back to the book of Kings, the 10 tribes were ripped from Solomon because he went off whoring after other gods. So that was a punishment that was given to the nation of Israel as a whole, to be split. Okay, so we wouldn't be one big kingdom as we once were. So the Lord split us up. But in these last days, that's why he said as an ensign, because these are signs of the end of Esau's kingdom, that the tribes are starting to come back together. All right. So he says, and join them to another into one stick, and they shall become one in my hand. You see that? And that's why when you go out to the highways and the byways and you see the Hebrew Israelites out there preaching, you see the 12 tribes chart up there with all of the 12 tribes listed, because they are now one stick in the hands of the Lord. The Lord is now calling all Israelites back as one. You see? Now, are all Israelites going to hear the call? No, they're not going to all answer the call. But the ones that the Lord wants are going to answer the call. Okay? And in this call, you're gonna also start seeing on a carnal level, which I believe this is what this is. The tribes start to look at each other differently, okay, and they're gonna really start to look at the so-called white man as the problem and not each other, because again, he said, when you go back in their history and you look at what they've done, they're the ones who caused the oppression. They're the ones who took our people off their land. They're the ones who killed, robbed, and pillaged, and raped, and all that stuff. And they're the ones that are spreading this nonsense among the tribes. You see? So when you put that all together, why is this all coming out now? It's coming out now because we're at the ending of Esau's kingdom, and the Lord is showing the nations, including the nation of Israel, the shame of Esau and who he really is. And with that being said, all of the tribes are starting to wake up. Okay? So with that, I pray this is an edifying lesson. I'm going to go ahead and end it off by giving all praise going honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, L'Chakodash. Double honor to the elders and the apostle, great millstone. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom.